Hey y'all, so I wanted to come back and do my commentary on Mr. Quanell X. Now, I know it's been a few days since I posted my last video, but I had to do some research because, I live by that Players Club rule, never trust anybody's information but my own. And so I had to make sure I knew what I was talking about before I came on here. And y'all feel free to go ahead and check behind me too. Anything that I post on, I try to make sure it's factual, and y'all can go ahead and research it after I let you know what's going on. So I felt like Mr. Quanell X's ass was shady from the very beginning. I just couldn't put my finger on it right from the beginning. But the more and more research that I did on his ass, I started finding out a lot of things. And my first thing that I wanted to know was, how did he come in contact with Brittany? And I heard a few things, I watched a few videos, but I wanted to make sure that I heard it straight from the horse's mouth. So, in an interview that I watched, one of his initial interviews, he stated that Brittany's best friend is the one who actually initially reached out to him. And he said that they talked for hours upon hours that initial time that she reached out to him. And then, to my surprise, he stated that he spoke to Darion Vince's brother, who is Joe Jr., after he spoke to the best friend. And then he was introduced to Brittany. Now, he said that he and Brittany talked over the phone a few times, and then they finally met face to face, and they kept conversing about what was going on with Malia and the whole case. He also went on to state that he felt like it was three people that should be charged in this crime. And I was like, well, damn, three people. How would you get to that conclusion? But he kind of like just skated over that. He said that, and then he said, because two people should be charged for the cover up and one person who actually committed the crime. But then he didn't elaborate on that anymore. And I felt like, well, damn, what is it that he knows, and who are these three people? And so, as I've continued to watch some more interviews, he just started stating that a lot of the things that he was talking to Brittany about, her answers were very insufficient, and some of them were just downright shameful. And he said even though he would be mad at some of the things that she was telling him, he said he had to swallow his pride because he didn't want to jeopardize getting all the information from her. So he didn't want to say something to upset her. But he said that he had got so angry one time at the stuff that she was telling him that he actually slammed his hand down on the table so hard because he was so angry. But then he said he came back and he apologized, and he just still kept conversing with her. So the last time, I think he said what broke the camel's back for him was that he had asked her what does she think had happened to Malia. And he said that she stated that the answer, I guess, well, he didn't say exactly what her answer was. He just said that he was not pleased with her answer, and she basically kept telling him how Darion was beating the baby even right after she had her surgery. He whooped her so bad one time that she wanted to take her to the hospital, but Darion convinced her not to. And then that's when I was like, you know what? This is some straight up bullshit, because all of that is some shit that Brittany made up. Now, I'm not saying that it's impossible for Darion to have done these things, but when you look at a lot of these photos of Malia and Darion, she was the happiest when she was around him. I don't even see no pictures of her with fucking Brittany, or they ain't been posting them, and I'm quite sure she has some, but I have yet to see any. But the photos that they showed of her and Darion was loving. And I know you can't tell everything just by looking at a photo, but I also looked at the interview that his father did. And his father went on to state, and if you watch one of my previous videos, I pointed on that a little bit deeper too. But he went on to say that Darion was the sole provider. Darion was like Mr. Mom. He watched the kids, he washed the clothes, he took the kids to school, he played with the kids. Now, I also watched another interview about this fat ass bitch, and it said that he would take the kids and take them for a ride because Brittany would be overwhelmed with the kids. And I'm like, bitch, how the fuck are you overwhelmed? You don't fucking work. All you do is sit your fat ass on the porch and smoke motherfucking cigarettes. So what the fuck are you so overwhelmed by? But they said he would take the kids on a ride because she would be overwhelmed. And basically he just did a lot for the kids. And in the photos, like I said, it shows. But that don't excuse him from discarding her body in any type of way. So no, fuck no, I'm not letting him off the hook for anything. But anyway, let's get back to Mr. Bullshitting ass Quanell X. So He said that, after he asked Brittany about what happened to her and her answer was so insufficient and Darian whooped her and she just basically held all of this into herself, he just couldn't take it no more. And I felt like he couldn't take it no more because he had gotten everything that he needed from Brittany. He didn't need her no more. Because he also went on and he stated the man who was interviewing him asked him, well, do you qualify for the reward that, is there's a reward out for, anybody with information leading to finding Malia. And he's like, oh no, I don't qualify for any reward because I'm an activist. But then I was like, okay, well, that's cool. But Tim Miller qualifies. And so I'm like, let me see what him and Tim Miller got going on. Because he also went on to say that he and Tim Miller had worked on several big cases together. And every time they worked together, they always found the body. He made sure to stress that. And he just thanked God for Tim Miller. Now, if you go on back to Tim Miller's bullshitting ass, he started searching for Malia. They started a search and then they stopped. And then they started again. And he was all agitated. He had went on the news and he was like, I don't feel like if you have any experience in this type of work, you shouldn't be out here looking. And I'm like, well, damn, it shouldn't hurt if everybody in America was looking for the baby. What's the harm in that? Because him and Quanell, Tim Miller and Quanell knew that if somebody else found the body before they did, they whole little plan and scheme that they had, they wasn't going to get paid. And that's why he had an attitude and he kept, stopping the search because they ain't have no more money to keep searching. So they had to find that body. So I believe that Brittany knew all along what happened to Malaya because her fat ass was in on it. So the more and more that Quanell talked to her, he got bits and pieces and he pieced the story together and he knew where Malia was because Brittany told him. But he couldn't just come out and tell us that like all the other bullshit interviews that they did telling us that Darian molested her and all this old bullshit that was made up by Brittany's fat lying ass. He didn't want to come out and tell us he knew where Malia was because then we would know that Brittany was the one who told him. So he conspired with Tim fucking Miller and they came up with all of this jailhouse bullshit and all of these confessions and Quanell saying a brother that he knew from the street got a hold of him through third person. And I'm like, well, damn, if the brother from the street was so fond of you, why he couldn't reach out to you? Why would he have somebody else in jail contact you to tell you that Darion Vince wants to have a conversation with you? All of that's some made up bullshit. But see, what Quanell didn't know was they gonna be on his fucking ass. That's why they subpoenaed his phone records. Because the police don't even believe that he just went in there in 30 minutes and got a goddamn confession. And this man, Darion Vince, stated the only statement that he's made was that he loved Malia. He took care of her better than her fucking parents did. He loved her and he didn't kill her. I feel like Brittany Bowens is the one who killed her, and out of love, and it could have been out of love and sheer panic, stupidity. But Darion Vince was the cleanup man. I don't feel like he killed Malia at all. Now, do you get a pass for fucking discarding her body? No, because you should have stood up and been a goddamn man and called the fucking authorities if it was an accident. But no, y'all wanted to hide this shit, so that's why all of y'all are fucking guilty and all of y'all should burn the fuck up under the jail and then go to motherfucking hell. Because this is some bullshit how all of y'all failed this little girl. And Quanell, you ain't no motherfucking better because I feel like he is jeopardizing the case. By you going in there concocting this motherfucking story that you concocted and saying that Darion gave you a confession, you're gonna fuck around and confuse this case so much that he might fuck around and get off, and so will this fat bitch. So if you're not gonna do stuff for the right reasons, if you're only in it for the money, then sit your motherfucking Malcolm X wannabe ass the fuck down and stay the fuck up out of it. Because I felt like then all of a sudden her body is found and he says, Quanell X says that his daughter Camille texted him Thursday night. This is the night before he got the confession from Darion Vince stating that she had a dream that they were looking for this baby and they were picking up body parts on the side of the road. And it wasn't in Texas, it was right outside of Texas. Well, I'm like, well, goddamn. She had such an elaborate dream about what actually really happened, and this was just her dream. And she remembered all of this. I call bullshit again. Flag on the motherfucking play. Because how you dream every single detail of what happened. And if you have dreams like that, then bitch, I need to talk to you because I need to know what the motherfucking mega million and the Powerball numbers are going to be exactly. Since you have such exact, vivid dreams and you remember everything that happened in your dream, and it was the exact shit that happened to this baby. I feel like Quanell and Tim Miller were in on this. They planned to find Malia's body because they knew where it was the whole time because Brittany had told Quanell, but he had to figure out a way to make it seem like Darion confessed this to him, and then miraculously we find Malia's body. And then she's ran over by a mower and now she's in pieces, and your daughter just coincidentally had a dream about that? No, sir. If you think we gonna believe that, then you a goddamn crazier fool than you look with that goddamn toupee sitting on your motherfucking head. Ain't nobody stupid, and we're not just gonna fall for that bullshit. Him and Tim Miller came up with this scenario so that they could get paid because he knew where Malia's body was all along because Brittany told him. Now, another thing that I wanted to point out was the area that they found Malia's body in. And shout out to 54 Keys. If y'all don't know who she is, her channel is called I'm On Your Ass. And when I tell you she is on it, she is on it. Now, she made a post about the area where Malia's body was found, and I was like, wow, because there was barbed wire fence right there. So I'm like, is that where Darion got all of those scratches from? That barbed wire fence? Because I'm like, there was no defensive wounds on his hands. So when he kept saying that these people were stabbing him up, I didn't believe that bullshit. But I'm like, man, those cuts were, all on the back of his neck and on his chest and stuff. And that would match up with there being barbed wire fence there. And if you put her over that fence, then he might have got caught up because he said it was so dark at night. And I'm quoting a statement from Quanell, lying ass, saying that he said it was really late at night when he dropped her body out there. So maybe he couldn't see that barbed wire fence. And so he was getting cut up while he was out there. And, that's just what I'm thinking. But like I said, y'all, I'm going to keep digging into this situation. I'm looking at everybody. Y'all let me know, what your thoughts are. And let me know where else I need to go. Like I said in my last video, I feel like Darion Vince's mom is somebody important that we need to talk to as well. But from the little bits that I've heard of her, she's seeming kind of shady in this situation too. But I'm going to keep doing my research and I'll be back. Y'all just keep writing with me. And again, this is news for your ass.